Hello, Suman. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hello, Peter. Howjo Bujen. Pardon me while I eat some nuts. I'm hungry. Hello, Valerie Ann and Riyadh and Mina. Welcome to my live stream. Yes, I am a drummer. Wan Chang Hao. I'm pretty good. I do have to say, there is a chance that I may have to end this stream early today. I'm waiting to hear back from someone about something that I might have to go do. So I'm going to be here for as long as I can. But it's possible I may have to run. Hello, Lemon from Shandong. So this is my English Q&A session. Q&A means question and answer. So that means it's kind of an open format. You can ask any questions you want about English, or maybe you want some advice about something in your life, or career, or job, or whatever. So whatever questions you have, I will try to help you. Okay? What's the meaning of way up and way down? Well, way up and way down usually refers to the position of something. So if I say, can you give me that book way up on top? It means there's a book that's very high. If I say, can you give me a book that's way down there? It means very low. So way in this case means very, kind of. Andre, the stream topic is question and answer. So if you have questions about English, you can ask me and I will try to answer them. Okay? So I will answer most questions you have today. Yes, I am a musician. Hello, Tanya. You would love my insight in career terms, okay? What's your career question? How can you improve your grammar? Sarah, you need a good grammar book. You need at least one good grammar book. To be honest, grammar, especially English grammar, more than one book would be good. Grammar is pretty difficult for English, in my opinion. So you need to go through it as many times as you can. Well, Sarah, you can use ChatGPT to help with your grammar. You can write some journal entries or some stories or some writing assignments into ChatGPT and try to see if it will correct your grammar for you. Okay. You can use a grammar book and a grammar workbook. The most important thing about grammar is you need a lot of practice. That's really it. There is no secret to grammar except for practice. You need a lot of practice about grammar. That's it. Okay? Hello, Sabrina. Suman, you want to improve your English? Well, you can follow my link tree. Go to my link tree, which is right here. If you follow my link tree, you'll find my YouTube, my website. You'll find everything there. Okay? On my YouTube, I have many, many, many videos with tips about how to improve your English. Okay? But if you really want help today, then you need to ask me a more specific question. Okay? If you ask the question, how can I improve my English? I don't know how to answer that because I don't know you, so I don't know what problems you have. Okay? So if you just want general help, then just go to my YouTube channel and you'll find lots of videos you can watch to help you. Okay? How can you be a translator? Well, you need to have nearly perfect English. To be a translator, you need to have an extremely high level of two languages. You can't have just a kind of okay level of English. You need a very high level of English. Okay? All right, let's see. Is it disrespectful to use a tag question to someone who's a senior to you or someone with a social rank? Well, I think that kind of depends on who you're talking to, but not in general. No, I don't think so. No. Chicago, in America, the truth is, something like that shouldn't be. There's no difference between, or I should say, there's no level of formality that's being considered when you ask tag questions. A tag question, everybody, is something like, "It's nice, isn't it?" Or "You like it, don't you?" No, I don't think there's any problem with asking a tag question, to somebody older than you or someone with a higher social rank than you. Okay? Hello, Ron. Good to see you again. Guten Tag. Hello, Jessica Georgina from Indonesia. I miss you like the Dickens. She's cute as the Dickens. So it means I miss you a lot. And she's very cute. Where does that come from? Let me see. So a long time ago, the word Dickens actually used to mean the devil. Shakespeare used it a long time ago. Shakespeare said, "I cannot tell what the Dickens his name is." And in this case, it meant, "I can't tell what the devil his name is." Means like you're trying to express some sort of Oh, I had the word and now I lost it. Some sort of exasperation. To be exasperated means to feel like, oh, man. So I miss you like the Dickens means like, oh, man, I really miss you. And she's cute as the Dickens means, oh, she's really cute. Okay? You're exasperated in some way. Ni hao. Okay, Perfect Blue says, in my country, in Portugal, I see people trying to learn English everywhere, no matter where they are spending their money on learning English. They don't finish their path. Okay. So I'm an English teacher, and it also happens with me. People just give up on the path to learn English, or they don't study enough. How do I keep people focused on learning? Oh, okay. Well, you can't always. Being a motivator is part of being a teacher, in my opinion. Okay, being a good motivator is part of being a teacher. And quite honestly, sometimes, Perfect Blue, you need to tell them that they're being lazy. I tell it to people here all the time. Learning is difficult. That's why we respect smart people, because we know it took a lot of work for them to learn all of that. So sometimes you need to call them out and tell them, hey, like if you really want to do this, you got to do more than you're doing. That's one. Two, I always talk about how important it is to have a plan, a study plan. If you want to achieve something, then you need a plan to achieve it. So for me, there are 8 areas of language that I work on with my students: reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and thinking. Okay? Those are the 8 areas that I want a plan for. So every student I have a bunch of notes over there. Each student, I write down those 8 areas, and I give them a plan for those 8 areas. This is how you're going to work on your reading. This is how you're going to work on your writing. But then I will also tell you that for language learning, the one thing that most people don't do that they need to do, which will make a drastic improvement in both their learning and their ability to feel good about learning, is that they need to learn how to think in English. Okay, if you can't think in the language you're trying to learn, you're not really learning the language, in my opinion. Okay? Perfect Blue, go to my YouTube page, and I think you'll find some videos. Watch some of my videos, my live streams from here. You'll find a bunch of tips about motivating. You'll find a bunch of tips about thinking. You'll find a bunch of tips about keeping people interested. Okay? Aragon wants to know, what should you say when someone says thank you? You're welcome. It's nothing. You can say you're welcome. You can say it's nothing. You can say no problem. It kind of depends on what they're thanking you for. Hello, Diego. What's my offer about grammar book? What do you mean, what's my offer? You mean, which one do I recommend? I recommend a book called Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. Okay, that's the grammar book that I recommend. Okay. All right, let's see. Hello, Mole. What is the meaning of make something through? I don't know. You'd have to give me more context. But again, important tip here. no offense. Please listen. No offense. But my time is valuable to me. So that means, as a student, your job is to try to find the answer first yourself before you ask me. Sometimes when people ask me questions, I can tell they haven't actually tried to answer it themselves. They haven't looked to find the answer. You have to try to look and find the answer first, then come to me and ask me. Tell me, I don't understand what this means. If you just say, what is the meaning of this? What does this mean? What does this mean? That kind of tells me that you didn't try to find an answer yourself. Okay? And that's important. Hello, Sanjul. Hello, Miguel. Good to see you. Hola, how are you, my friend? Andre wants me to discuss the construct would have done in the third conditional in everyday speech. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of a long explanation, so please be patient for a minute, Andre. I'm going to try to answer some basic questions first, and then I'll see if I can come back to that, okay? Hello, Maria. Hello, Fluke. Hello, Yancy. What's the difference between active and activated? Active means something has motion or energy now. Activated means the energy of something has been engaged. So I activated the alarm system means I turned on the alarm system for my house. Okay? And then I'll say, it's active now. That means don't go in there or it's going to go pew, 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 because it's active. I have activated it, means I engaged the energy of it in some way. Okay? I turned it on. Okay? You're eating a cucumber while I'm eating pistachios. What's the difference between chill out with friends and hang out with friends, Maria? Nothing really. Chilling out and hanging out are really the same thing. Okay? Hello, Ares. Hello, Eunice. I'm eating pistachios. Hello, Belen. Could I write it? God, this is so... what was I talking about? Oh, I think I did. You were talking about the book. I did put it in the chat there. Is it okay to take a day or 3 days off from learning English? Yeah, of course it's okay, Sala. However, it's okay to take time off from learning. However, let me give you one of the best tips that I can give you about learning. If you make learning part of your everyday life, if you find ways to learn when you're doing your daily life, then you never take time off and you never lose anything and you're always moving forward. So if I'm watching TV, I'm still finding a way to practice my Chinese. If I'm making dinner or going shopping for groceries, I still find ways to practice my Chinese. So I'm using my language even when I'm relaxing, which means I'm still practicing. So Sala, it's okay to take a couple days off from studying a grammar book or, practicing writing or something. That's fine. But if you learn how to think in English, then you never have to take time off, and you can even practice while you're doing just relaxing things, okay? You're so nervous because you're in a video call with a friend from Texas with a family and they're learning Spanish. You'll be fine. Which grammar book would I offer to improve your general English and then prepare you for the IELTS exam? Well, for general English, the one I recommended that I wrote in the chat before is good for general English. For preparing for the IELTS test, there are IELTS preparation books that you can get. Cambridge is good. Barron's is good. And Kaplan is good. Those three companies make good IELTS books. Okay? All right. But thinking, teacher, is supposed to happen naturally from a lot of input? No, it's not. No. Thinking is thinking, man. Sala, thinking just means replace whatever you were thinking about in your native language with English. And no, you can't do difficult things. You can't think difficult thoughts, but you can think simple ones, but you don't do it. Okay? So start thinking all your simple thoughts in English as often as you can. I spend a good 30 to 50% of my day thinking in Chinese. Okay? Okay, remember, please be patient, everybody. I have to answer all the questions, and it takes time for me to read them all and answer them all, so you have to wait while I'm answering other people's questions, okay? Hello, Janeth. Hello, Jenkin. Basic English grammar, no, I don't think it's Betty Ezar. Let me see who it is. I have it right here. No, just Saddleback Publishing. No, it's by Anne Seaton. I'm using my computer. Hello, 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 everyone. I look younger than before. Well, I went back in my time machine, and I decided to go back a couple of years. Are pistachios also expensive in the U.S.? Yeah, they're pretty expensive, but like I buy a big bag of them for I think about $12 U.S., $11 or $12 U.S. And it's my breakfast, right? So if I buy one big bag of them, it's my breakfast for maybe 2 weeks. You know, a week or 2 weeks at least. And so when you consider how many meals I get out of it, it's not that much. And it's healthy. Sala, can you go live? What do you mean, can you go live? Jankin, I'm answering any questions you have about English. Hello, Mona. Thank you for the gifts. Oscar, I'm answering questions about English or questions about life or questions about whatever, just not politics or religion. I'm eating pistachios. Pistachios, pistachios. Hello, Dustin. The time now is 11:47 a.m. Can I talk about the difference between American people and Chinese people in thinking? Well, humans are humans. So it doesn't matter where you're born in the world. We all start on the same playing field. But culturally, as you grow up in a different culture, we definitely do try, we do tend to kind of have different methods of considering the world. Americans are pretty direct most of the time, which sometimes can seem a bit offensive. Chinese people sometimes are too indirect, in my opinion. They're too worried about offending someone, so they're not they're not really being completely honest with the way that they speak to someone. It's because of face culture. Now, I'm not saying Chinese people are liars or something like that. It's a matter of politeness. In Chinese culture, you don't want to insult someone. So sometimes you might say something to them, you might say, like, if you ask me if your English is really good, I'll probably be pretty honest with you about my assessment. I'll tell you, well, you're doing pretty well, but you definitely need to work on this and this and this. But, I can say ni hao in Chinese and people will say, wow, your Chinese is so good. So that's kind of a different thing, right? I lived in Taiwan for 4 years. So 我会说中文。现在我吃开心果。如果我说不对的，很多中国人。他们不要告诉我，可是美国人他们告诉你你需要什么什么什么，听得懂吗？It would be nice to add some beer to the pistachios. Yeah, pistachios do go well with beer. But I also think they go pretty well with coffee in the morning, too. Okay. How about Vietnamese? What do you mean? What about Vietnamese, Victoria? Can I read Chinese? 我可以，可是因为我学中文在台湾，所以有时候我不可以，因为他们用别的他们用那个 traditional 传统的，我忘记中文怎么说，traditional and simplified。So what? Whatever. All right. So I had two difficult questions about English. Let me see if I can help them. One moment. Let's see. All right. Alamov wants to know about future perfect continuous. No, I've never taken a Chinese exam. I've never really cared about taking a Chinese exam. 我自己学中文大约10年。在台湾，我学中文在逢甲大学6个月。Jane 不是，很多人他们常常说：“哦，你的中文很好，你的中文非常好。”很多人，很多。你知道我对啊。The time is 11:53 a.m. Hello, Islam. Yeah, 我知道这是 simplified 跟 traditional， 可是中文怎么说我忘记。因为我用 Hello Talk， 我常常看 simplified Chinese， 所以我可以读。可是有时候一些汉字我不知道，一些。And yeah, Kimberly, there's some truth in that too, Kimberly. Yeah, you know, Americans are a little bit more open about talking about how they feel. That's true. You know, we have psychologists and therapists over here all over the place, but you can't really find many. It's hard to find a therapist in China. You know, there might be a few at the hospitals, but we have them everywhere here. My father is a psychologist. 我的爸爸是心理学家。All right, I'm trying to catch up and I'm trying to answer some of these difficult questions. The fishing was great, thank you. Did I learn modern pinyin? Yeah. So, 我学一半一半. I use pinyin, but I also learned traditional characters. So I was learning traditional characters, but I did learn pinyin. When I speak Chinese, do I always consider some sentence structure? Yes, sometimes. Yeah, of course. Like, I do consider the sentence structure, and maybe occasionally I'm not entirely correct with my sentence structure, but it never matters. You know, the thing about grammar is, my disagreement with grammar is, if the grammar makes no difference in the meaning, then it's not necessary in any way, shape, or form. Right? So there are a lot of aspects of English grammar that are quite honestly just unnecessary. Okay? And Chinese is kind of the same way. I might put the you know, one or two words in the wrong place, but it never makes a difference in terms of someone's ability to understand me. Yeah. Yeah, I have lots of Chinese dictionaries. I've got a bunch of them. You mean you can speak but not write? No, 我可以写，可是我忘记，因为我不常写。我用我的手机 我常常用我的手机用拼音，可是我觉得很少人只有用那个笔。Very few people still write with a pencil anything anymore. You know, most of the time we just need to type it. So who cares, right? Yeah, it's sweet. I use almond milk. And it is different thinking in English and Chinese, sure. Because there are many dialects and accents in China, grammar is not very important, and the language is just a tool for communication. Yeah, all language is just a tool for communication. I don't approve of grammar without purpose. Any grammar that you learn should have a specific reason that makes a difference in the meaning or in the communication of what you're trying to say, the transmission of your meaning. If it doesn't, it's not needed. Yeah. Could I please stop smiling like that? Like what? If you don't like my face, 你不需要看我。Okay, cock-handed. That's a British thing. I don't know exactly what it means, but I would guess it means not done well. Okay. Hello, Melissa. All right. I forgot to answer questions. I'm sorry. So let's see. Would have done third conditional. Let me give myself some notes here. Okay. Would have done. Okay, so let's see. I would have done it if I knew I had to. He would have been more careful with it if he knew it was so fragile. She would have never eaten that crayfish if she knew that she were allergic. So, let's see. Andre? So you want to give everyday speech? So this is a good website you can check out. It's got a bunch of examples here. You know, I think he would have brought you that ring. I'm sorry. I think he would have bought you that ring if only you did not start that huge fight with him. Let's see. Had I known you were coming, I would have cooked your favorite dish. She told me she would have said yes if only you had asked her to go out with you. So they're hypothetical situations, you know. if blah, 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 then I would have blah, blah, blah. Right? You're talking about something that did not happen. So it's a hypothetical possibility of what could have happened. Okay? We would have called you immediately if we had known that you didn't need some time to settle down first. You should have told me I would have taken that trip with you if you had given me enough notice. Right? So it's always used when we're talking about something that didn't occur, but we're trying to tell someone that it would have occurred if something else, if they had done another action, then this would have been the outcome. Okay, Andre? Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Okay, and then there was another question about, let's see. What was the other question? I forgot. Future perfect continuous. So the first thing you need to know about future perfect continuous, any of the continuous, or I should say any of the perfect tenses. Perfect means completed. The word perfect comes from the Latin word perfectum, which doesn't mean 100% without flaw, really great. That's the modern meaning of perfect. The grammar meaning of perfect is from the Latin word perfectum, which means completed. Okay? So, I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. So this is actually somewhat similar to the other thing that we were talking about. You're talking about a future thing that's going to happen. So it's used to talk about something that's forward in time, and to look back at it as well. So it's kind of a funny way to talk because you're talking about the future and you're looking back at it at the same time. So by 2001, I will have been living in London for 16 years. So maybe you've been in London for 10 years and then you're looking forward and you're saying, oh, in this year, it will have been 16 years. Right? So it's a very interesting thing. You're talking about a future, but you're also looking at the past. You're considering it in relationship to something in the past. Okay? When I finish this course, I will have been learning English for 20 years. Okay? Let's see. In what month? Let me think. In September of this year, I will have been using HelloTalk for 11 years. Okay? Next year, I will have been working here for 4 years. Right? So next year, right now, it's 3 years. But next year, I will have been working here for 4 years. Okay? All right, so that's what I would say. Here is a link that you can go to get a better explanation and some more information about it. One moment. Let me figure out where I put that. All right. Okay, let me catch up with the comments again. Please be patient. Gift entertainment. I'm answering any questions about English. Your English is not good. You can understand in class, but now you can't understand when I speak a little bit faster. Well, CC, You need more practice with listening, and you need to be listening to people who speak well. Okay? Go. If it's not a clear photo, then it's because of your connection, or you need to tell Hello Talk, because the connection here is perfect and my YouTube is perfect. So either you have a bad connection, or the YouTube, or the Hello Talk live stream is not good. But that's not my problem, and I can't do anything about it. When speaking English, you usually tell where, when, who, and what. Well, that depends on what you're talking about. Yes, Kimberly, I would agree that Chinese is sometimes a little bit more simply direct, right? You know, so if in English I can say, I want to go to the store. Right? Look at all those words. I want to go to the store. 7 words. Chinese, 我要去商店. You know, it's shorter. It's a little bit more direct. There's less need for all those extra words, right? Becky, it is 12:08 p.m. Sneak out. To sneak out means to go do something quietly without letting anyone know. So maybe you're a teenager and you want to go to a party that your mom and dad don't want you to go to, so you sneak out. Means you're trying to get out without your parents knowing. Okay? Or maybe you're at a party, but you don't really like those people, and you need to go because you feel a social obligation, but you don't want to stay anymore, right? So you say, hey, let's sneak out. Let's see if we can sneak out here in the next few minutes. That means let's try to see if we can leave without anyone noticing. Okay? Yes, I do have a very good mic. You're awful at writing. Any suggestions? Use ChatGPT to try to see if you can work on some writing exercises. Tell ChatGPT, I want to improve my writing. Please give me some writing exercises, correct my grammar, and tell me what I did wrong. It will help you with that. Okay? Omar, how can you distinguish between the what? I don't know what that means. Sneak in means the same thing. It means to come in without anyone noticing. To go in without anyone noticing. You know, let's see if we can sneak into this movie. Means let's see if we can get into the movie without paying money. Something like that. Okay? Oh, you mean distinguish between the sound. Omar, well, you need to learn phonics. That's right. You need to learn English phonics. One moment. Go here. No. Nope, not there.
I chose Wix for my business because of its
One
massive
moment.
scope for functionality and...
Hi. Wix. gives you the power of AI to build the website you need. With full business function.
Go here. Here's a page for English phonics for adults, a YouTube page. What's called Education First? I have no idea. Hey guys, try to remember that I'm speaking with more than 100 people at the same time. So if you ask me questions, you need to be very clear about what you're talking about, because it's hard for me to try to understand if you have one part of your question up here and the next part way down here. That's hard for me. All right. So try to make sure you're very clear about your questions. You mix, I'm afraid of it, I'm embarrassed about it, I am pleased with it, and so on. When do you say I'm pleased? When do you say you're pleased when you're happy with the way something went? So, if you take a test and you get a 95%, you could say, well, I'm pleased with my test. I'm pleased with it. Okay? If you say, I'm embarrassed, that means you feel embarrassment about something you did. You feel shame, you feel embarrassment, you feel bad. I'm afraid of it means you have fear of something. I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of dogs. I'm afraid of sharks. Okay? I'm embarrassed because I did something embarrassing. Right? If it makes your face red and you feel like, oh no, what did I do? That's embarrassment. Right? You know, when you feel like I'm embarrassed, okay? But you're pleased when you feel good about something, okay? No, I'm not married. Taylor, I don't sing. I'm a drummer. I play drums. Hello, Romero. There's one big difference between Chinese people and American people. Chinese people, anytime they see someone with a microphone, they say, "Can you sing this song?" But in America, we know that just because you have a microphone does not mean you're a singer. 我是鼓手，不是歌手，对不对？我觉得这是对。Hello, Shabnam. Hello, Avina. Do I need people to join in my company? First, 什么意思？你要帮我吗？我需要。如果你要帮助我，你可以啊。每天我有太多工作。Hello, Quinn. Why does it show that there are 600 viewers here, but you only see 110? Orenbeck, that's because there are two different numbers. 600 is the number of people who have opened the stream and maybe left. Like if you're just here for a minute and then you leave, that's the total number of people who have opened the stream. 110 is the number of people who are here right now. Okay? How can you help me? Send me a message. Send me a private message. We'll talk about it. Okay? You're welcome, Andre. I hope that helped you. Okay, let's see. What time is it? Oh, let's see. I can probably have to write around 1 o'clock if that works for you. Wait 1 minute, please. 请等我一下. Thank you, Malik. I'm drinking coffee. You didn't find the channel on YouTube. My channel? I drink iced coffee. It's iced coffee with almond milk. Pink cafe. What kind of phone am I using? It's the 14 Pro Max. Oh, look, there's Angela. She showed you. Thank you, Angela. Thank you for that. Where did my links go? Did I lose that? Let me find that again. Oh, I think I accidentally closed it. Oh, no, I didn't. There it is. You can find all of my links here. Copy and paste it. You'll find it. Okay? Okay. Let's... Oh, wow. Suddenly we have a bunch of people who want to come up on stage. So let's get somebody on stage. Let's start with, is it Dido? And Orenbeck, I see you there. I'll talk to you in just a minute. Let me try to get somebody new up here first, okay? Dido, do you want to come talk to me? Hello, Dido, are you there? I'll try one more time. Oh, there he is.
Do you hear me?
Hello, my friend. Yes, I can.
Hello?
Hello. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Dido?
Yes, Dido. This is Bulgarian name.
Okay.
It's called Dido.
Dido. Oh, okay. All right. That's better. All right. Hello. Nice to meet you. My name is Teacher Mark. What can I do for you?
Nice to meet you, Teacher Mark. Excuse me?
Do you have a question for me or something I can help you with your English?
No, it's a pleasant for me to hear you.
Oh, okay. You just want to chat. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you're in Bulgaria, huh?
Yes, I'm living in Bulgaria.
Okay. What city in Bulgaria?
In Sofia. It's the
Sofia.
capital
Okay.
of Bulgaria.
All right. Okay. All right. Wonderful. And how long have you been learning English?
I don't know how many years, but I think maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
But my level is not good enough because I have no practice.
Well, a lot of people say that here. And one of the reasons why they come to listen to me is because I have a trick about that. You can practice anytime you want, anywhere you are, and it doesn't matter if you have other people to practice with. You just have to learn how to think in English. Whatever language you're trying to learn, one of the most important things to do is try to get that language in your mind. If you do that, then you can practice it anytime you want. So I live in the U.S., but I can practice Chinese anytime I want. I just think in Chinese half my day.
Yes.
And it's tricky.
Yes.
It's hard because in the beginning, there are many things you don't know how to think. And it feels frustrating. You feel like a baby. Like, I don't know how to say that or that or that or that. But you have to start simply and build. But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yes, I will try. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Dido, what do you do? What's your job?
Satellite communication engineer.
Wow, satellite communication engineer. Well, that's a very specific kind of an engineer. That's cool. Okay.
It's not so popular, yes.
Not so popular in the U.S.? I think that it's probably pretty popular. Well, I should say it's a very specific job. So engineering is very popular, period. Any kind of engineering. But that's a very specific kind of engineering.
Yes, very specific.
Yeah.
That's right.
And what do you like to do for fun, Dido?
I like traveling. I like watching movie. Many things. Listening to the music.
Okay.
Of course.
What kind of music do you like to listen to?
I prefer dance and trance music.
Dance and trance music? Like EDM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry?
EDM?
Yes.
EDM means electronic
EDM,
dance music. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Do you have anything you want to ask me?
No, thank you. I'm
Okay.
listening you with big interest. This enough for me.
Okay. All right. I just thought maybe you might be curious about me or something, but it's okay. You don't have to. Okay. Well, Dido, I'm going to maybe see if I can talk to a couple other people here today because I actually don't have a long time to be online today. But it was nice to meet you, and make sure you follow and come back and see me again sometime, okay?
Of course.
Oh,
I
and
will.
if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm a drummer. If you notice behind me, you can see my drums.
I copied.
Oh.
I copied the link.
Okay, and if you
I
go
copied
there,
it.
then there are many videos of me teaching English, but there are also a lot of videos of me playing drums, and there are many that I play EDM. I play trance or house or EDM music. I play along with that, so you might like it.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
All right, my
Okay.
friend. It was nice to
Thank you.
meet you. Take care. I'll see you next time. Okay.
Bye bye. Of course.
Okay, let's see. Did I miss any comments? You're welcome. You could say anytime. Is it one word or two? Let's see. So, there's a good way for you to remember that. So any time with two words is a noun phrase that means any amount of time. Okay? Or it can also be used as part of a prepositional phrase that means whenever. Okay? But anytime one word is an adverb, that means whenever or at any time. So, whenever you're not sure, write any time as 2 words. Okay, if you write it as 2 words, it's always pretty much correct. All right, but it won't be wrong if you write it as 2 words. Okay, so if you're not sure, just write it as 2 words. But anytime as an adverb, meaning whenever or at any time, you can use it like you would any other adverb. So you could say, call me anytime. Okay? Understand? You don't know when you can use the word upon. Jimena, it's a fairly formal word that we don't use in very many situations anymore. It used to be used pretty commonly, but upon is not used that often anymore. Let's see. So I could say he carefully placed the cup upon the table. But in most cases, we now just say he carefully placed the cup on the table. Upon is the same thing, but it just is more formal sounding, and sometimes that sounds a little awkward. It sounds a little old, okay? Like, for example, we'll use that word when we're talking about a king on his throne. We'll say the king sits upon his throne, his big chair, right? So in modern times, we often just use the word on, okay? But if you're talking about something ancient or older, then sometimes you'll see that word happen more often. What does mean to means? Maydway, you need to give me more context. I didn't mean to means I didn't intend to. It was not my intention. It was an accident. Okay, but that mean to there are many ways to use that. Okay? Do I love my country? Is that what you're asking me, Jingro Soju? I love Earth, man. Their countries are such a weird thing. If I'm on the moon and I look at the Earth, can I see the various lines that separate the countries? No, I can't. And that's how I view the Earth now. Okay? Diego, again, go to my link tree. You'll find all my links on my link tree right here. Okay? You can only see half my face, Tamar, is that right? Can you guys see me or no? Is that better? Okay. Yeah, this camera is so sensitive. It's so weird. All right. One more. Let me just catch up with a few more comments here. Okay. If possible, explain the word would. Sometimes I get completely confused. When should we use would? Okay. All right. So would is the past tense form of will. Okay. So because it's past tense, it's used to talk about the past. So you're talking about things that you imagine. Okay. So for example, or we also use it for requests. Would you like to go to the movies later? Would you like to go to dinner? Would you like to eat a hot dog with me? Would you like to have a conversation? That's a request. Okay. Let's see. So would is used to talk about the past. Would is used for politeness, right? I could say, do you want to go to the movies? Or I could say, would you like to go to the movies? They mean the same thing, but would you like to is more polite, okay? And when we're talking about hypotheses, I can't speak today. Hypotheses, meaning things that you're imagining. Okay, so let's see. You can use would when you're talking about the past tense of will. So we had a terrible night. The baby wouldn't go to sleep. Dad wouldn't lend me the car, so we had to take the train. Okay? Things like that. That's the negative form of it, but it's the same thing, right? So here, I'm going to give you a link. Go to this link, and you'll find more of an explanation there. Why does my Telegram keep disappearing? One moment. Ooh, this might be too big. Oh, no, it's okay. All right, go to that link if you want to learn more about wood. Okay? What's the difference between waiting and awaiting? Again, Jimena, awaiting is a more formalized version of waiting. I'm awaiting your answer. It's the same as I'm waiting for your answer. I'm awaiting the train. It's the same as I'm waiting for the train. Are you reading an older book, Jimena? What are you reading where you're seeing these words? Why 什么你们好奇怪？等一下。Stars， 你好，很高兴认识你。如果你要学英文，你可以听我；如果你不要，你去。我觉得你有好大的口，可是你有好小的脑，非常小的脑，非常大的口，你胡说八道。去。Sorry about that, everyone. I told him he has a big mouth but a small mind. I said he's speaking stupidly. Whoever this guy Stars was, I got rid of him. I removed him. He's a child. Okay, let's talk to Orenbeck. He's been waiting for a long time. I know there are other people who are waiting. I'll try to get to you.
Hey there.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Good
Can you
to see
hear
you
me?
again. Yeah.
I'm really good. I'm glad to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. What can I do for you
It's
today,
nice.
my friend?
I have a question. I have a question as
Okay.
usual, and I wanna warn you that I may disappear uh, abruptly, or escape abruptly because my time limit is going to be
Okay.
expire.
Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
So you can continue responding. I will watch you on YouTube,
Okay.
so don't worry.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You mentioned about accent and pronunciation, and I've thought on this topic, and I didn't understand anything, and I have this question: Might someone have an accent even though he speaks or pronounce or he has pronunciation, perfect pronunciation? You understand me?
I think I do. Yeah. So, what is accent, everyone? What is an accent? An accent is basically accents are created by the movements of your mouth. So when you learn a new language, you need to learn the grammar and you need to learn the vocabulary and the sentence structure, but you also need to learn the new mouth movements. Okay? And every language has its own mouth movements, right? So, for example, in Chinese, they don't have any TH sound in Chinese. There's no TH in the Chinese language, so they often have a lot of trouble learning how to do a TH sound. They have to practice. That's a new mouth movement for them, right? And when I was learning Chinese, for a long time, there was two words that I couldn't really say well. One was the word for water, and one was the word for study. And study is she, and water is shui. It's pretty close. The movements are really, really similar. And so I had to really focus on not only the sound, but the position of my mouth. And also, when I first started learning Chinese, I used to use a really big mouth when I spoke, and it sounded weird because American English uses a big mouth, right? But then I figured out that Chinese is, I always say, Chinese is a small mouth language. So if you want to speak Chinese and sound better, then you need to use a small mouth. But for the Chinese people out there, if you want to speak English and speak English better, then you need to use a big mouth. So, for you, your accent is, the region you live in, you have that slight mix of Arabic and Russian. There's that little bit of mix between those two, and kind of an Eastern European thing a little bit too, right? And so what you need to do is you really need to sit down and think about which sounds exist in my language that are very different than the sounds in. So, for example, for Arabic speakers, it's the R sound. The R sound in Arabic is very different than the R sound in English, American English, right? So, the word for thank you in Arabic is shukran, and it's got that that kind of a sound, right? But Americans would say it as shukran, kra. It's very different, right? So you have to figure out what is the difference between those two things, right? And the Arabic R is actually kind of similar a little bit to the Spanish R, so I'm no linguist, but I've been listening to languages for a long time and I've been paying attention to the differences. And once I learned about this, for my Chinese accent, and my Chinese accent is not 100%, but it's getting better. And it's because I really pay attention to mouth position, tongue position, lip position. All of those things are important. Understanding, does the word happen in the front of your mouth or in the back of your mouth? There's many, many different things that go into it. But basically, an accent is when you're using the grammar and vocabulary and sentence structure that you learned, but you're still using the mouth positions from your native language. That's what an accent is.
So what is the perfect pronunciation?
Well, that's kind of that depends on who you ask. So in America, for example, there are many different accents that are American accents. Is a Texas accent wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's just different.
Is it a dialect or accent?
It's an accent.
Or is
Yeah.
the difference?
What's the difference between an accent and a dialect? A dialect involves more local language that's included. So it's not just the sound of the language, but it's also certain phrases or things that they will say there. And certainly there are dialectical things that are different in different regions of the United States. So, for example, sometimes when I say hello to people here, I live in the Midwest, we often say howdy. Howdy, Hawdy. It means how are you doing? And sometimes we'll say howdy, y'all. Y'all means you all. Right? That's a dialectical regional thing, But I feel like every area has a few of those. Every area has a little bit of that. But I don't think that there's too much dialectical difference between English across America. There's a little, but not too much, right? So if you go to another part of the United States, you're not suddenly going to feel like, I don't understand what anybody's saying anymore. It's not like that. On the other hand, some places in England, it does seem like that, the Cockney accent in England is not only is it an accent, but they also have so much slang that, quite honestly, sometimes when they're speaking English, I might understand their accent, but I don't understand anything they're saying because there's so much slang that it's like, oh, well, I have no idea what that means. Australians have a whole lot of slang too that makes it dialectically different English. If an Australian wanted to speak to an American and confuse him, it's very easy. Because they have so much slang and so much colloquial language and regional dialectical differences that they can definitely do that pretty easily. So it's never an all one or all the other. It's always a little bit of both. But in general, in America, there are regional accent differences in pronunciation. So for example, there's a TV commercial sometimes on TV in America where it's two women who are arguing about parking the car. Like, they're trying to be polite and they're saying, no, you have this one. You take this spot. I'll take the next one. And they're arguing, and they're from Boston, right? And in Boston, they have a different accent where they say, they don't say park the car. They say park the car. So there's two ladies that are saying, no, you take the parking spot. No, you take the parking spot. And it's just like this funny thing to hear their accent. We all like to laugh about the different accents in our own country, because it is kind of funny to hear all the different ways of speaking. My accent is the Midwestern accent. I tell people it's considered to be one of the most neutral of the accents. So that means it's one of the most clear and easy to understand. It's kind of bland. It's kind of plain. It doesn't have a lot of real inflections on it in one way or another. You know, it's somewhat bland in that way. So, but that's what makes it somewhat clear. You know,
a lot of native speakers from the states say that there are a lot of dialects and accents in the states, and they see a big difference between Australian accent and American accent. But I don't see any differences, you know.
Oh,
and
there is, yeah.
I ask this question because so many English learners don't pay attention to the pronunciation. But when I try to speak to native speakers, they don't try to understand me. You know, they just what, and I'm sorry, telling me.
Your English is great. If anybody can't understand you, that's not your problem. That's their problem. I understand everything you say perfectly clearly, but there is a very big difference between Australian English, British English, South African English, New Zealand English. The only one I think that's kind of similar, Canadian English and American English are pretty close. Right? Like, I have a friend that I used to teach with in Taiwan. He's Canadian. He sounds almost exactly like me. Almost exactly like me. There are only one or two words he will say that have a slightly different sound. So I say sorry, and he'll say sorry. Sorry. Right? I say about, he'll say about.
But
It's very, very similar.
honestly, I didn't.
You can't hear the
I
difference?
didn't see any differences. You know,
Right.
I don't differ. I didn't differ. And now and no, you know, no, I know English, and now I am doing now. No, turns out.
Okay, so yeah,
these
this
are
is
different.
Yeah, these are different, very
sounds.
different. Because I'm a musician, I think it gave me a very big advantage in learning language, because I'm more careful about what I hear, and I do hear very subtle differences between things, you know. But when I was in high school and I learned German, I was a musician, but I was still too new, too young. I hadn't learned enough yet. My ears were not developed enough yet. So I couldn't. No, I didn't have this level of understanding now that I do now. But no, that's really what it is you need to really listen carefully. And it takes a while sometimes. And I used to argue when I first started learning Chinese, there's also, you know, there's some other differences that are so subtle, or at least they seemed so subtle to me at first. Like there's two other sounds in Chinese that are similar, qu and chu, qu, chu. And they're very different words, but when I was first learning, I was like, it sounds the same to me, man. What are you doing to me? Like, you're driving me crazy. That's the same thing, you know? But that's because in English, especially in English, there's a wide variety of what could be accepted to be a correct sound. But in some languages or some dialects, the difference between very small things can be very big. Right? Have a very big consequence, right? So English is definitely I think it has a wide variety of what's accepted, you know? And that's one of the reasons why I tell people that if you're trying to practice your listening, it matters who you listen to. You have to find someone who speaks well and follow them. Because you could be listening to somebody who's native, but maybe they speak really weird, you know? Like Bob Dylan is one of the most famous singers of all time. But whenever I hear him sing, it sounds like this to me. It sounds like, I can't understand anything he says. Nobody can. And his voice is just really weird, you know? So you shouldn't learn from Bob, you know? Yeah. So that's why I'm telling you that you have to consider who you're learning from. You have to consider who you're listening to. And I know you want to understand everybody, but you can't. You know, you have to start with people who are good. Just like when you're learning a musical instrument. When you learn piano, they don't tell you you should listen to everybody in the world who plays piano. You know, maybe your neighbor plays piano, but they're not good, so you shouldn't listen to them. You know, like, you should listen to the masters and then follow them as your models. Use them as your models. That's a good place to start. And then later, once you become good and you listen to good models, then you'll be able to listen to your neighbor and understand if there's anything of value to learn from them. But in the beginning, if you listen to people who don't speak well, you're just listening to bad habits. Do you understand?
All right. Actually, I noticed that a lot of English learners don't pay attention to the pronunciation or just ignore this part of language, and a lot of English teachers also say that accent and pronunciation is not so important. And what is your advice? What is your opinion? Because I see and I know a lot of people who don't try to express themselves clearly and accurately.
I think that you do not need to sound like me. You absolutely do not need to sound like me. Your English is 100% clear. There's nothing wrong with your accent at all. Clarity should be the goal of language, not perfection. The goal of language is not to pretend like you were born in that country. That is not the goal. The goal is to be able to express your mind and your feelings well using another language, okay? So unless you're a spy, there's no need for you to sound like you were born there. You know, like, if you're a spy, then sure, you want to sound like, yeah, I'm from America, of course, you know. But if you're not, then you just need to be able to express yourself well, and that's all. And there's another aspect to accents that people don't think about. Sometimes people say, but I want to sound like a native speaker, but I want to sound like a native speaker. And when you do that, if everyone does that, it does create a problem, because it's almost like you're creating shame of your culture. If you're afraid to sound like you are from some place, then it's kind of like you're embarrassed to admit that you're from that place. You know? When the purpose of language should just be to express it. And in America, I hear all kinds of accents all the time. My neighbor's from Taiwan. I got another neighbor from India. Our other neighbors are from England. I like that. I love hearing. So I always tell people it's like when you buy a box of crayons, right? If you know, when you're a kid and you want to draw with crayons, you don't want a box of crayons that are all white or all black or all gray. You want the box that has all the colors in it, right? Well, your accent is your color. Okay? But if I ask you to draw your name, to write your name, if the crayon is dull, it's not sharp, then you can't write it clearly. Right? So what do you need to do? Do you need to change colors, or do you need to sharpen your crayon? You need to sharpen your crayon. So that's what I tell people. You don't need to change your color. Your accent is your color. Keep that. But sharpen it so that it's clear. Okay?
All right.
I love to hear different accents.
And I have the second question, but I think so many people and viewers are waiting for their turn. If you don't mind, I may leave the conversation.
Yeah, you can tell me your question, and I can see if I can answer it while you're gone.
All right. Actually, I see some movies in English, but it is really weird to me. My time is expiring.
Okay.
So
all right. Write it for me. Write it for me. Yeah, write it for me. Okay. Take care, my friend. I'll see you next time. Okay. So yeah, again, you know, you guys don't need to try to sound like me. If you want to sound like me, you can. But I think it might take you between 5 to 10 years. But if you want to sound clear, that takes less than 1 year. Okay? So, anyway. Most of you want to be like natives. I understand, but... Okay, then let me give you another perspective, Nimreen. Or Nermeen, sorry, Nermeen. Where are Americans from? Where are Americans from? Everywhere. Carolina has the right answer. Americans are from everywhere. So, okay, listener says the Red Indians. Okay, those are called Native Americans. Native Americans, you're right. The only people who are really from this area are the Native Americans. We don't call them Indians. We say Native Americans, okay? You're right. But there are very few of those people left, unfortunately. Very, very few of them left, okay? So I'm talking about the rest of the people who are here. Where are they from? They are from everywhere. They are from everywhere, okay? So my family came here from someplace else, okay, from Ireland and Slovakia, long time ago, okay? So my grandmother, she used to have an accent. Does that mean she's not a native? No, it doesn't. This is a land of immigrants. My country is a land of immigrants. Everybody here, except for those natives, is an immigrant or was from an immigrant family. So we all had some kind of an accent at some point. And many still do. Okay? So if that's the case, then every accent is an American accent. Okay? All right, let's see. Oh, there was somebody else who was waiting, and I think they probably ran out of their time. All right, let's talk to Carolina, because I haven't talked to her in a long time. Hello, Carolina.
I'm Lucy.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What about you?
I'm okay. I'm a little tired today, but I'm all right. It's nice to see you again.
Yes, it's been a long time. Well, I'm always here, but on stage is a long time.
Yeah, I always see you. I always see you. So what can I do for you today? Do you have a question for me, or did you just want to chat?
More than a question. It's not a question, but it's more like an advice. I've been working really hard to improve my English, but sometimes it's very difficult for me to convey my thoughts. Maybe because I'm get nervous and I start speaking really fast, and then my thoughts start to making a mess. So I have to remind that it's better to slow down, and my thoughts will become back once again a little bit slower. But sometimes I struggle really bad with communicate.
Okay.
In the end, all is about communication, right?
That's right.
So my problem is sometimes I really get stuck with my thoughts, and it's very difficult to convey my thoughts.
You know, the same thing happens to me too, though. You know, both in English and in Chinese. You know, a few days ago, I went to the Chinese market here to buy some stuff. And while I was there, I saw a couple of Chinese guys, and I wanted to ask them a question. I was trying to get a recommendation of something to buy. And so I started speaking to them in Chinese, and yeah, I guess I was trying to think too quickly in my mind. It became too yeah, it got too stuck, and I just started being like, I can't speak, and so my first thing to tell you is that that's somewhat normal in any language, even in your native language. That's going to happen sometimes, especially when you're talking to new people, right? So, two things. One, try to speak with people who you're comfortable with already. If you have some comfort level with that person, then you'll be more relaxed and it probably won't happen as much. And two, if you meet someone new and you're trying to speak English to them and practice your English, it's okay for you to start the conversation by telling them, hey, I would like to ask you something, but English is not my first language, so please just try to be patient with me. And if you just start by saying that, like I should have done that when I was talking to these two Chinese guys. I should have said like, sorry guys, my Chinese is not that good, but I'm going to try. So please just bear with me, we say. Bear with me, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so you can say the same thing. You can just say, hey, I'd like to try to talk with you, but please bear with me because I might get a little nervous or a little flustered. That's another good word. To be flustered. Yeah, when you're flustered, that's the feeling of like, I'm nervous and I can't speak. Yeah, right. I'm flustered. Right, exactly. You're flustered. And so, yeah. But if you start...
Wait a second, because I want to write it down right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let me write it here in the chat for you. Flustered. I am flustered. Yeah, that means that feeling that you get where you're nervous and then you kind of get, you lose your thoughts, you lose your words, you feel overwhelmed by some kind of emotion, nervousness or embarrassment or whatever. You're flustered. Okay. So, but again, if you start the conversation by trying to tell them to bear with you, that might make you feel a little bit more relaxed. Like, okay, well, I already told them that I'm doing my best. Yeah, so please be patient with me. Like I said, that's what I felt like when I left that store. That's exactly what I felt. I was like, oh, I should have told those guys, like, hey, guys, my Chinese is okay, but, I might say something a little bit weird or, please bear with me, in Chinese. I should have said something like that. But I didn't. And then when they were speaking to me, I got a little flustered. I was like, oh, geez, wait, what did he say? Oh, okay, I think I know what he said. He said this. And, it took me a minute. But it's easy to have that happen if you don't feel comfortable. And that's why I said, if you can speak to someone who you feel comfortable with, create a comfort level, and then you won't get flustered. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you need, right. Sometimes you that's
I
right.
Go like, oh my God, I could do
right.
something.
But again, I would also remind you that this feeling happens in every language, even if it's your native language. I get flustered in English sometimes, language is not a perfect science. It's an art form. And occasionally it's a little tricky. It's a little sticky. You might forget your words. Maybe you're a little tired that day. Maybe you're feeling a little hungry or, when I'm hungry, I can't think at all. Oh my God. Yeah. I used to teach classes, and when I was trying to lose weight, I would skip my breakfast. And sometimes when I was teaching in the morning, I couldn't think at all. I was like, oh, I can't explain anything. Yeah, I couldn't find my words. Yeah, so just remember, it's natural to get flustered occasionally. Is completely natural, and you have to just relax.
Yeah. I'm opening sometimes voice rooms in order to follow your advice. It's a good idea to teach someone English, and also I'm opening for people who wants to learn Spanish. So far so good. I open some just few voice rooms.
Okay, good.
Uh,
Yeah,
for
that's
now,
good.
it
That's
will
great.
work a lot. Yeah, but some people say don't speak with people with a lower level, and I don't think it's true.
Don't speak with people with a lower level? No, I don't think
With
that's
your
true.
lower level because they're gonna drag you down.
No, that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite is true. If they have a lower level, that's an opportunity for you to teach them something. That's some of the best practice you can do, teaching. So
Yeah, I'm
no,
trying to do that.
that's a silly idea that if you talk to somebody who's not as good as you, that your language will become worse because of that. No, that's an opportunity to teach, which is an opportunity to practice, and that's some of the best practice you can do. And that reminds me too. Let me find something here. I have a new. I joined some groups on Hello Talk that are great, and I'm looking for the right link. If you guys want to join some good learning groups, hopefully I can
Yeah.
find it here. Yeah. Where is it? Here it is, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to post this link here in the chat for, it's a group called LET. Let's Learn English Together, LET.
Yes, from Deborah.
From Deborah, that's right. Yeah. So I just joined that group just recently. And yeah, so if you guys want to join a good group in Hello Talk for practicing your English, they have lots of teachers and volunteers and natives and non-natives. Go to this link and you can sign up. Copy it and paste it. You can't just click on that, everybody. You have to copy it and paste it. None of the links in Hello Talk in the chat work by just clicking on them. You have to copy them and paste them, and then it will work. Okay. So yeah, go to that link and you
Because
can join.
I got tired of big groups because a lot of messages, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's why I never really joined or I tried creating some groups in the beginning, but it was just so hard. Like there were so many levels of people, and there were so many different questions, and some people just want to talk and they don't have any purpose. And yeah, it was really hard to manage. But Deborah is I have to say, she's pretty amazing at organizing all this. She has 18 different groups.
That's important. Yeah, that's important to organize.
Right. She's very organized with it. So she has 18 different groups there, and each one has I guess once they get to 500 people, then they create another new one. Right? So there are like 18 groups with 500 people in them or something, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, right? I know. That's a lot. So I joined them, and I'm going to try to see if I can jump in there sometimes. But like you said, it's a lot. And so sometimes I just have to ignore. Yeah, I have to ignore it because it's too much. Right, exactly. Yeah. Especially because I just hit 70,000 followers the other day, so now I just get too many messages every day. You know, it's too hard for me to reply to everybody. You know,
So for now, my boardrooms is perfect because there are just 7, 8
That's good.
at max, and that is really nice because we can practice because it's a small group.
Yeah.
It's okay, and for me it's perfect because I'm a little bit shy. Not shy,
But no, that's
know.
good because then, like I said, that's a group you can feel more comfortable with, and if you feel comfortable, then that's the key to being. You know, remember, I always tell people, language is a performance. Language is a performance, and in order to perform well in anything, if you're a singer and you're not relaxed, you can't sing well. If you're a guitar player and you're playing guitar and you're not relaxed, you can't play guitar well if you're not relaxed. Piano, acting, dancing, if you're not relaxed, you can't do those things well. Language is a performance. So
Yeah.
if you want to perform well, you have to learn how to relax. You know, that's one of the biggest problems people have with language learning. And that's why I tell everybody you have to be a language warrior, right? I tell you that I'm sorry. If you're a shy person, I feel sorry for you because unfortunately, shyness has no place in language learning. You cannot become good at a language if you're shy. You just can't.
I am trying to confront this, and I'm progressing with that because I
Good.
said, okay, no, let's push myself and go
Good.
there. And
Yeah.
I'm inside. I'm really nervous, but at least I'm trying. At least I'm putting myself out there.
Good. And again, being a language warrior, a warrior is a fighter. And what are we fighting? We're not fighting verbs and nouns and tenses. No, we're fighting our fear.
Self.
Yeah.
that's fear.
We're fighting our fear. You have to kill your fear first if you want to study a language, right? Once you kill your fear and you control your fear, now you can do something with your language. But if you let your fear control you, then you're never going to be able to be successful learning a language because you have to use the language. You have to talk to people. You cannot be afraid. Yeah,
That's true.
right.
That happens to me also with swimming. I was really afraid of water. I think I had something in my childhood. Something happened because I was really afraid of water. And then I took some classes, and little by little, and then as a grown up, I learned to swim. And now it's one of my favorite activities to
Good.
do.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know,
love it.
I use that example sometimes when I'm talking about this type of thing. When you're a kid, we learn how to swim. Everybody's afraid of the water when you're a kid. You walk up to the water and you dip your toes in and you say, it's cold, you know, like, and you're afraid to jump in. But sometimes your uncle or your brother or somebody will come just push you in the water, right? And the reason why, it's not because they're trying to be cruel. It's because they understand that your fear is out of proportion with what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is not that scary. You just need to jump in the water. That's it. It's just water. It's not going to kill you. There are no sharks in there, you know? So you just need to jump in the water and start, right? So that's why they just push you, right? They're just trying to tell you, hey, once you get in, you'll be fine. And that's what happens, right? We get in and we realize, okay, it's not that bad. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then each time you do it, it's easier, right?
It took me years. I'm telling you that. That I was taking the classes with all the grown-ups and sometimes older people. We were like,
Yeah, I know, right? But isn't that a funny thing though? If you become an adult and you're still allowing yourself to be controlled by such silly fears, that is a big problem, you know? And you can imagine it must be affecting you in other places in your life too, you know?
in every
Right,
aspect.
right. And so that's why you have to try to conquer your fear about things, you know, in this way. Shyness is not a benefit to anyone. You know, I can't think of one situation where shyness is good for you. Being humble is good. That's
it's
different.
other
That's
thing.
very
It's
different.
very
Yeah.
different.
Right. But when you're shy, that's based on fear and lack of self-confidence. And how can you
Yeah,
get...
the problem is self-confidence.
That's
yes.
right.
That's the root. That's the root, yes.
Right. And so when people ask me, how can you get more confident? I tell them you have to do something to get confidence, right? So if you try to do something and you accomplish it, then you get this energy. And then that allows you to go back and do something again. And that gives you energy. And then, so it's a cycle, it's a circle that's how you gain confidence. But if you never try to do anything,
Then you cannot
That's
overcome
right.
anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, listener says shyness sometimes is good in our culture for girls. I think that's not necessarily shyness, listener. I don't know if that's shyness. I think that's something different. That's a cultural thing that has a little bit more to do with the female role in the culture. That's a
Ah,
little
okay,
that's a
that's
little
different,
different
but
than
it's different.
shyness.
To
I
be
don't think
shy
that's
is
shyness.
completely different to be introvert.
Right,
I
right.
think it's
That's
different. I
that's
think
more
it's
of a
different now.
cultural thing where you're trying to. I hope I'm not wrong, but the way I interpret it, it's more that it's better to appear. Well, it's kind of funny. It's almost like when I was in Taiwan. In America, if you teach in a class and you ask the kids a question, they all go, "Oh, me, 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 me," right? But in Taiwan, I would go and I would ask the question. And when I was new in the class, if it was a new class, here's what would happen. Maybe one or two kids would kind of try to raise their hand, but here's what they would do. They would do this. Like they would look to see, is anyone else going to raise their hand? Like, is it okay if should I do it? I'm not sure if I should do it. And that means that they're culturally feeling like they don't want to be the first one. They don't want to stick out. They don't want to be the one that's sticking out and who's making too much attention. I think it's similar. And in Islamic culture. That sometimes the girls don't want to draw too much attention to themselves in that way, where it's like, look at me, I'm so great, but I don't think that's shyness. I think that's not the same thing. Shyness is
introvert.
Yeah,
I think it's because
that's
you
right.
don't want
Yeah.
to be on the spotlight.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that thing that they're doing, that's something they're doing on purpose based on their cultural expectations. This shyness is what I'm saying is when you're afraid to do something because you don't have any self-confidence, that's shyness. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that's different,
And
I
that's
think.
happened to me. People say, but nobody understands it. They say, but you're not introvert. And I say, I don't. Well, sometimes I don't like to be on the spotlight, but I
Yeah.
think and say I'm shy, and nobody like you are shy. No, I cannot believe you. And I say, yeah, I'm very shy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. It's kind of weird because, I turn on the camera all the time and I talk to people all over the world and I'm comfortable talking with people, but I am sometimes an introvert too. Like, I don't always want to go to a party with a bunch of people and have to feel like I have to be on all the time. Like I'm talking to people and, hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. All this. No, I just want to relax and just chill out and be in the corner quietly, But that's not because I'm shy. That's just because I don't always like to draw attention. I like to just kind of sit back and just be in a part of the room sometimes, So,
But that's personality that I think is completely different. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think you are a person that have a high self-esteem. In my case, I have a low self-esteem. And Mark now I'm like
I'm conflicted about my self-esteem, because self-esteem is actually a funny thing too. Because in this case, too much self-esteem means you're too prideful, and then you feel like you're good at everything and you don't need to be better. That's why I always want to feel like I'm not that good. So when people tell me my Chinese is so good, I really don't think my Chinese is that good. It's okay. I can use it, and but I always want to feel like I can do better. So if I play drums and people say, "Wow, you're so good," I say thank you. That's great, but I always want to feel like I'm not that good. What I tell people is I know where I am, but I also know where I want to be. And so that means that I'm glad you think I'm great, but this is really where I think this is great, way up here, and I'm not up there.
But is it that is modest? It's
That's
very
right.
different
That's
to
like,
have good high self-esteem and you can also be humble.
Well,
I
hopefully,
think.
yeah, you have to have the balance. I think that's the important thing is you have to have a balance of that
Yeah.
because I never want to feel like I'm good enough at anything. I always want to feel like I can do better. You know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, I suck at everything. I'm terrible. No, I don't, I'm not that guy, but I
No,
also
that's
don't want to brag
all
like,
other kind of
I'm so good.
approach.
I'm the best one, even when I have to tell people about me when I'm here, when I have to tell people, well, I have about 70,000 followers here. It actually makes me feel a little uncomfortable, to do it. I have to because it's promotion. You have to do that stuff. But I don't feel that comfortable talking about myself like I'm so great, But that's a good thing because that's what keeps me wanting to be better,
In my case, for example, when I have to sell myself with my academy, with kids and everything, that you have to sell yourself,
Right.
for me was terrible because my low self-esteem plays me a bad.
Right. I was just talking on Facebook with some friends of mine because my YouTube channel doesn't have too many videos of me just talking to the camera, just me explaining things.
Very important.
And the
Yeah, very
reason
important.
why is because I hate it. I hate that. It feels so vain. It feels so narcissistic to talk to the camera and just say, like, you guys should listen to me. I'm really smart and I have this great idea that's just for you, If there's a person here like you, then I feel totally comfortable teaching and giving advice. But when I'm just talking to an empty room with a camera pointed at me, that feels very vain. It feels very narcissistic. It's so weird. I have to do it.
Unfortunately, it's like
Right.
that.
Right.
Unfortunately, if you want to sell and if you want to have a community in YouTube or in social media,
That's exactly
then
right. You have to.
do it.
Yeah.
And to say that, and I have to stop because
Right. I know.
I
Yeah.
I
So,
couldn't handle it. I couldn't.
but it's a challenge for me. It's a challenge because, without someone to interact with, I feel very odd, doing it. Yeah. So, hello, Laura. Hello, Kevin.
Yeah.
So anyway, it'll get better, I'm sure. But actually, that's what I was doing was I was turning on the camera and then I would ask one of my friends to be in the room. So if they're in the room,
And that's the best.
then
Yeah, that's
there's
the best.
someone there that I can kind of feel like I'm connected to or interacting with. So I don't
With
feel
someone.
yeah.
Oh, a camera. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
hear you.
exactly right. Yeah. So if there's a group that I can talk with, I have no problems at all. But without a group and it's just me and a camera, it's so weird. It's so weird, Yeah. It just feels so
There are
vain.
people that
I'm so
have
great.
been
I have this
really
wonderful
used to
advice
like
for
that.
you. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Anyway. Well, Carolina,
Yeah,
it was
well-
great to talk to you again. And you're doing
Thank
wonderfully,
you.
by the way. I can notice a difference. Your English is getting much better. Good for you.
Thank you. I'll be working so hard, and now I'm trying to speak slower in order to convey my thoughts. But sometimes I cannot. I start like
Yeah, I know. But again, remember, language has no speed. Lots of people think that fast language is good language. No, good language is good language. And it's like music. Is fast music the only good music? No. Slow music is good. Medium music is good. Fast music is good. Loud music is good. Soft music is good. Language is dynamic. It means that it's good at both speed and volume, different kinds. It depends on the situation you're in, right? So
if it is your second language, it's better to go slower because you can understand
absolutely,
better.
that's absolutely
And
true, right?
your thoughts will become even faster in your mind because you have let your mind works.
Right. So the way I learned this was through drumming because when you drum, here, let me see if I can show you guys really quickly. Hold on.
Thank you. Leah.
Okay, so let's see.
You have to
So,
start with
so
this
when
book.
you drum, in the beginning, when you're a kid and you want to play fast, you think that the faster you go, the stronger you have to be, right? So you have to go like this, and then when you get faster, you start going, right? Like you have to try harder. But no, it's the exact opposite. The faster you go, the more relaxed you have to be so that you can maintain control. So my teacher, he used to make us practice like this and speak at the same time, because if you can speak while you're playing, then you're relaxed. But if you can't, then you're not. So it's all about maintaining control, 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 control. That's the goal, everyone. Not speed. Control of your grammar, control of your vocabulary, control of your pronunciation, control of your reading, writing, listening, speaking, all of those things. The goal is control, not speed. Okay?
Cool. Very good advice. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, I'm going to let you go, Carolina, but it was great to see you again. And yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for always supporting me and following me. I appreciate it.
No, I'm trying to support you as much as I can. I watch all your videos on YouTube. Not the live streaming because it's very long.
Yeah, I
The
know.
other
Some of them
one,
are very,
yes.
very long. I know, right? But thank you, Carolina. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time, okay?
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, everybody. Guess what? I have been here for 2 hours and 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes. It's about time for me to go. That's right. Memo. The faster you speak, the more relaxed you need to be. That's exactly right. That's true for anything in any kind of performance. The more difficult that thing is, the more relaxed you have to be. Okay? But that kind of runs counterintuitive to the way we feel. When we're kids, when you think run harder, which means use more muscle and try with more energy and effort. But actually, again, the faster you go, the more difficult something becomes, the more you have to maintain relaxation and control. Okay? So I need to go, guys, because I have somebody coming over here to help me with some stuff here soon. So as a matter of fact, I have a friend coming to help me do some videos like I was just talking about. So I do need to go, but thank you guys for watching and following. Please go to my my link tree, which is right here. Go to my link tree. You can follow my website. Go to my website and sign up. Go to my YouTube. There are many, many videos. This video is on YouTube right now. It will be uploaded in a few minutes. My Facebook is there. My Buy Me a Coffee is there. There's all my links are right there on Linktree. Okay, so go to my Linktree and follow me, follow me, follow me. Okay. Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, Belen. Big hugs. So I'll see you guys. I'm usually here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't think I'll be here over the weekend because I have too much work to do. But it was nice to see you guys, and I will see you guys next time, okay? Yeah, enjoy your Friday. Have a good Friday. Take care, everybody. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening, wherever you are in the world. Don't forget to be a language warrior. You're not allowed to be afraid. You're not allowed to be shy. Okay? Happy Eid. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.